You're about to learn how to do your own research in crypto for real based on my 10 years of experience in crypto. And I want to build a world full of wealthy people. I'm tired of y'all getting ripped off by crappy, useless, paid liars and people who don't know what they're talking about in crypto. So you really need to do your own research and learn how to do it. So many of you have asked, especially while I've been live on Twitch today, Jerry, well, how do I do my own research? And the first thing you really need to do your own research is come back to the technology. Because what makes doing your own research hard in crypto is when you don't understand the technology. And that's where almost everybody in crypto is wasting their time. You're wasting your time trying to look at all these metrics and narratives because many of that stuff doesn't matter. What you need to start with is which cryptocurrency has the best technology in crypto, which has the largest research and development team, which is doing something that nothing else is doing. If you've read Malcolm Gladwell's book, what you need to start with is thinking about outliers. You need to think about what is fantastically different in crypto, because for me, the biggest thing in doing your own research in crypto is before and after you find Internet Computer Protocol. So I'll take a look at the Internet Computer Protocol website, because the biggest thing that changed for me in doing my own research in crypto was before and after I discovered internetcomputer.org, which you all told me about when I was live back when I did my streams on YouTube. And if you want to talk to me live, go to my Twitch on jerrybanfield.com, which is hosted on Internet Computer. So the first thing you really need to look at in crypto is Internet Computer. Why? Because this answers all those questions I just set up in the beginning. Internet Computer Protocol is the only real-world computer where you can build everything fully on-chain. You can build something like my website entirely on-chain, on Internet Computer. The website, the storage for the files, the code, and it all runs in smart contracts. Now, there is no other technology like this in crypto, and the reason this has been able to be created is because the Definity Foundation, which is a major contributor, and they launched Internet Computer Blockchain, they have the largest research and development team in blockchain. So this is what you really need to know before you even research anything else, because before I found Internet Computer, crypto was very confusing. I couldn't figure out, I would go through CoinMarketCap and I'd click all the market caps and the explorers, and I'd try and figure out, well, why is this one this much and that one that much, and this one has that narrative and that one has that narrative and this has this many users. It all felt very confusing before I found Internet Computer, because most of the rest of these are technologically, they're basically copies, and some of them are actual copies of Bitcoin and or Ethereum, with sometimes small innovations, but really technologically, they're built the same way. So the starting point for your research, you need to understand what's different about ICP. Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency, and it has accumulated the most value in large part because it was the first cryptocurrency, which was a massive breakthrough. And I showed you a video 8 years ago. Ethereum was a massive breakthrough technologically. It was trying to be a world computer, but they went a different direction, and it became the first platform with smart contracts. And if you had simply bought Ethereum 8 years ago and done nothing else, you would have got 1000x. And I found Ethereum. It was at like $10 or $9 when I started buying it, and I didn't pay enough attention to the underlying technology, because there's a lot of hype and talk in crypto, but eventually it's going to come down to business fundamentals. Which crypto has the technology that is truly worth building on, and which cryptos don't? Which cryptos do something that nothing else does? So the way every crypto except Internet Computer Protocol works, what they have is they have a blockchain that's similar to Bitcoin and or Ethereum, where the blockchain is a collection of nodes that send transactions and have very tiny amounts of data actually on the chain. And then the majority of everything else you use in crypto is built right back on centralized hosting. Even there's a guide on Amazon Web Services on how to launch an IPFS node. those are often hosted on Amazon Web Services or other centralized infrastructure, which means there's a centralized point of failure in almost every single crypto application you use, which means even if you're using things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, is the website you're using it on, is the wallet you're using it on kind of subject to a centralized point of failure? Yes. Can that centralized point of failure be hacked, have your crypto stolen, even if you're on the official website using the official wallet? Yes. And this is how this happened. And then when you try and actually make these different chains work together in crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum can't talk to each other because they're blockchains that all they do is talk with themselves. And then you have centralized bridges and things like that, and wrapped tokens. Those are subject to hacked and centralized parties. And then things say they're built on chain, and many of these other cryptos will do anything, even some stuff you'd really be bothered by. They'll pay huge amounts of money to get a partnership with a company, and then they'll silently terminate that partnership because there was no real substance to it to begin with, except for publicity, and it's not worth building on chain if the company's not, or quote, on chain. When all this other stuff says it's on chain, it's not really. There's almost nothing on chain. Almost everything of importance is off chain. And once you know that, it changes how you research everything. And all of the DAOs in crypto that aren't on Internet Computer, they rely to actually execute anything that gets voted on. They rely on a centralized developer, somebody with the Amazon Web Services account or admin key to the blockchain to go in and make changes. So all the other DAOs in crypto besides Internet Computer, there's no actual decentralization executing the real code or the changes that the DAO votes on. And in many cases, we've seen DAOs that blatantly go against what the DAO voted on. The development team goes against it. So once you understand how crypto really works technologically, then you can be prepared to do real research. And for better or worse, once you find Internet Computer, and it took me months to really understand this, and I hope to speed that process up for you, because those of us that have been in this for a while, some of the people with the smartest minds in the world, like Elon Musk quickly dismissing NFTs that are hosted off-chain because he sees that that's inherently worthless. What happens when Elon Musk finds out there's one single platform, only Internet Computer, nothing else, where you can easily build your entire NFT fully on-chain? Maybe he thinks that does have value. Some of the other people around the world that are as smart as Elon do think that building on Internet Computer is the only logical place to build going forward. So to do your own research, you have to start with Internet Computer because it's the biggest research and development team in blockchain and because it has the best technology. And you should go verify this yourself. You'll see the Internet Computer website. It shows you, it has a page showing you how it transforms the internet. You can serve web directly from smart contracts. You can't do that. You can't do that with anything else. It eliminates the need for oracles. This is why you really can't do your own research until you know about Internet Computer Protocol. And as soon as you know about Internet Computer Protocol, it really ruins everything else in crypto. I will give you some tips for researching some of these other things in crypto, but it makes total sense for dating. It's like I have a wonderful wife. You know, it doesn't hurt to look at the other women that I see in yoga class that are beautiful and be friendly, but I certainly wouldn't want to trade anyone else in for my wife, because my wife does everything I want and provides everything I need. Is a fantastic mother, very mature, like she's everything. Now, until I met my wife, dating was very hard because nobody ever provided everything I wanted. Nobody ever was really a grown-up and could deal with my personality. And that's like crypto. It's like before I found Internet Computer, it's all just it was like trying to compare one turd to another. And it's like, well, this one's different. There's more of that one. But Internet Computer, just use it. The way I found Internet Computer was different is I actually used it. So if you're not sold on Internet Computer, that's fine, because research it and start there. But here's some other tips that will be very helpful to do your own research. What you need to stop doing, that so many of you are doing, You buy stuff on exchanges and you've never taken it off an exchange. And then you go around thinking you know something about the crypto and promoting it, but you've never even used it. The very first thing you need to do with any crypto you have is actually use it. That's the most basic way to do your own research. Try sending a Bitcoin transaction and tell me that that's the future of money. Waiting 5 hours for 12 confirmations so that you can feel confident your transaction actually went through. Try paying a $20 gas fee on Ethereum when it's a slow day and tell me that's the future of buying NFTs. Or during a bull market, perhaps paying $100+ just to swap 2 tokens. Tell me that's the future of the internet. Try using some of these other coins and then realize the moment you realize that you feel like you've been lied to. Like, I thought this app was on this chain, but it's not. It's on an Amazon Web Services account, and all it does is connect with and does little transactions on this other network. But all the real value's on some developer's Amazon Web Services account. That's where all the code, all the pictures, like crypto games. If you want to research a crypto game, play the game. And then think about the technology. Where's that game hosted? Is it on some developer's Amazon Web Services account? What happens if they stop paying the bill? How much does it cost them to pay developers to interact with blockchain and then put all this other stuff on Web 2 infrastructure and then keep it all secured and then promote the game? Try playing a game and watch the community consistently dwindle over time and think about how the technology works, and you realize, oh, so basically all of crypto gaming is Web 2 games that have tried to bring in tiny little crypto features, but really it functions the same as a Web 2 game at the end of the day. It's not true ownership over an NFT when the game developer has images on their servers of your NFT and they can change those images however they want to without you having any say in it. That's not real ownership. And what I found, I discovered Internet Computer was a real deal when I started using it because I'd played these crypto games on these Ethereum layer 2s. I'd used these absolutely trash decentralized social media applications where the founder will show you how decentralized it is when they sell their web service, Amazon Web Services account that has the bulk of the value on their website, and they sell that website and the code and all that stuff. You'll see how decentralized the social media app is when they sell it to someone else. And then people in the community create forks of it and put their own centralized hosting up, and then somebody else creates a fork and backdoors the blockchain and locks tokens, and you'll see how decentralized all this stuff is not. And then you see apps running on Internet Computer, and you see the poor user experience on these other applications. Having to download all these browser extensions is not something the average person's going to do, but then you go use Internet Computer with the Internet Identity login. And this is what caught my attention. I actually transferred my ICP off an exchange, and I know I'm using a mocking tone because the foundation of doing your own research is taking your crypto off an exchange, and I'm shocked at how many of you have not done that then pay to talk to me and ask me, can I help you get it off an exchange? Yes, but you can learn to take it off an exchange yourself. And if you're holding $20,000 in a crypto on an exchange, you've never transferred it before, that's a good place to start your research. And what you'll notice is when you do Internet Computer, it is harder to set up an internet identity for sure than setting up some of these other ones. But once you get it set up, it is so easy to use. It's so much easier than any other crypto wallet I've ever used. And if you want to go through all these different blockchains, I've used a lot of different wallets on a lot of different blockchains. Nothing is as easy and as fast as Internet Computer's internet identity. Nothing is set up so you can both protect your crypto and also be safe from losing it. And if you want to talk about breakthrough performance, I've seen YouTubers present blatant lies to their audience about Internet Computer's performance, because if you go look on the dashboard on Internet Computer, it absolutely shreds anything else in crypto. It's doing 5,000 consistently, over 5,000 transactions a second. But you need to think, what is the value being done in these transactions? What exactly is going on in these transactions? Are these meaningless transactions designed to inflate the transaction number, which some cryptos absolutely do, and exchanges inflate the volumes? But what's going on in these transactions? This is a world computer that is serving web. These transactions are serving web. Like my website, when I go to jerrybanfield.com, that pulls a transaction on the network, which burns cycles. And the only way you get cycles, which are pegged against a basket of fiat currencies, is you burn ICP. And right now we're seeing the cycle burn rates, something's happening. It's up like 6 times as much as it usually is. And you can see one of the best ways to research a crypto is to look at how much real use and adoption it's getting. So if you look at Internet Computers, the actual amount of cycles burned, which is equivalent to a somebody with Amazon Web Services account paying Amazon their hosting bill. So there's a real value and real technology that's being used here, and the amount of its use, depending on how you want to count it, it's up anywhere from, since the network launched 2.5 years ago, it's up anywhere from 10 to 20 plus times on average. It's up to 10 to 20 plus times on average from what it was before. And these transactions are smart contracts moving gigabytes of data around on the chain and serving pictures, video, and much more directly on chain. Canisters are kind of like containers for the smart contracts. We just had something happen. Thousands of canisters were created today. And this is the real deal in crypto. And to make it interesting, I wish there were like several other things I could compare with Internet Computer and be like, well, this one's really good and that one's really good and this one, but there's not. I mean, I've done hundreds. If you want a specific review on an altcoin, just put Jerry Banfield, and then pick a coin. I've reviewed hundreds of coins, hundreds of them. And ICP is so far better than anything else. There's no comparison at all. There's no point, and it has the first Bitcoin and Ethereum layer 2 on the same infrastructure. So if you want some more tips, like to me, be careful with your time doing your own research, because you could go down this list and spend an hour watching videos about every single one of these. You could spend 100 hours watching deep dives and basic videos about all these. But that 100 hours would end up being a total waste of time if you didn't understand the underlying technology behind it. That ultimately, if a crypto is going to be valuable, it needs to have a strong team of people behind it that are innovating technology, that have who's making your blockchain better. Right now, Internet Computer is so far in the lead in crypto, and it has the largest research and development team in blockchain. There's nothing else that's even close to catching it. You could watch hundreds of hours of 100x coin videos, and this is why and when I'm talking about doing your own research, you would expect me, well, why aren't you talking about diluted versus fully diluted market caps and tokenomics? I've covered those in other videos, but you really just need to understand the technology. That's what you really need to understand, and almost everything else is a waste of your time. Because it doesn't matter if many of these other cryptos have done anything they can, anything, paying huge amounts of money, paying people, that's a whole nother video. I made a video called Insane Crypto Creator Conspiracy, where most of crypto creators are either paid to talk a certain way or they're just copying other creators. And long story short, some of these cryptos pay huge amounts to get people to relentlessly promote them and to not talk about ICP. Because once you find ICP, it kind of ruins the whole rest of crypto in terms of looking at any kind of serious potential. Now, another thing you need to understand doing your own research is you can't trust things like price charts. Price charts and exchange volumes are blatantly manipulated. Prices are manipulated. Narratives are controlled and manipulated. So paying attention to narratives, technical analysis is a complete waste of your time because you're looking at what's happened in the past. You don't know about the manipulations and the lies coming up, the diversions. And if you're not researching the actual technology, which if you want to look at the technology, you need to pay attention to people who like actually would know about the technology and compare it. And there's a channel I want to shout out specifically that you need to pay attention to what developers who've seen ICP and who've seen other people or other cryptos are saying. And here's one example, Cityscape. He is a developer and he understands from a technological point of view how amazing Internet Computer is. And he says from what he sees as a developer, actually building stuff and getting in there and really using it, which how many people in crypto do that? He says this is where the future is going. This is where the hottest opportunities are coming because this technology is vastly superior. It's way easier to use. And this is where people are going to be hiring in the future and where people are not going to have as much experience. So you need to listen to what actual developers are saying and not, for better or worse, I'm mostly a marketing and content creation guy. I'm a full-time YouTuber and Twitch streamer. And I've been in this so long, it's taken me a long time in crypto to finally cut through the crap and to stop wasting my time with all these other cryptos are games. They're gambling, they're games, they're speculative hype, they're houses of cards. And they've done anything to try and make a profit for themselves, even if it means ripping you off. Most people have lost money in crypto because many of the projects in crypto are nothing more than copies, lies, and marketing hype. So Cityscape, if you want to hear from a real developer who's actually building stuff and understands and is in the programming language for Internet Computer and who's also into crypto, like watch Cityscape on YouTube. Watch his videos. And he's done some videos on other cryptos as well. And he's done things on things like ICP tokenomics. So what you need to do when you're doing your own research is be very careful to who you listen to. And one thing you need to consider is, does this person honestly care about my results? Or do they care more about buying themselves, big houses, fancy cars, and trying to take over the world? And unfortunately, crypto is a space that tends to attract people who are mostly selfish and self-centered. How do you think I got into this? I mean, let's be real. How do you think I got into crypto? I am sober almost 10 years, but I was in the middle of my alcoholism when I found crypto. Selfish, self-centered, only thinking about how to bring myself up. Doesn't matter what happens to other people on my way up. That's how I got into crypto. And I very recently have had a change of heart where what I care about is building a world full of wealthy people. Because if I consider each of you as a neighbor, I don't want you to get ripped off with somebody's crypto scam. Because if you live next door to me and lost your life savings in somebody's crypto scam, then I don't want some broke neighbor living next door to me who's so desperate that they might steal my stuff or that is jealous of my stuff. And I don't have I just have a regular, 1,000 square foot 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, no garage or anything. I guess 100,000 if I want to build a garage. So I'm not building a garage. And I could, I'm not even going to spend like 20 grand to get a new studio. Like I could get a new studio built, but I'm like, a little shed or something. Like I'll just move in the closet in the house. Because what I care about is providing a meaningful education. I care about having a world full of wealthy people who have enough, who are comfortable. And I'm not talking ultra wealthy who are often sick and care too much about wealth and power and domination, but people who are comfortable, who have enough money, often have time for fun, for family, for friends, for volunteering, for charity, and we tend to be some of the happiest people in the world. And the biggest difference in the world is having enough versus not having enough. So when you're doing your own research, you need to be very careful on who you listen to, because most people in crypto care about themselves and their own earnings and their own pocketbooks, and you are a secondary consideration. And unfortunately, there's various degrees. There's people who are, just a little selfish and do care about you, and there's people who are absolutely paid liars, and they perhaps can't stand you, and all they care about is ripping you off, or all they care about is buying a new house, a new car, and they will say anything to you to get themselves a bigger house or a bigger car or a private island. They'll lie straight to your face like Sam Bankman-Fried. Crypto's full of people like that. So you need to pay attention to the energy of the people you listen to. And you can get, the more you cultivate your own energy, the more you become an honest and transparent and loving and caring person, the more you'll be drawn to people like me, and you will just stop watching. You'll just stop watching these other people. You'll stop reading. I don't even read stuff on X anymore unless it's shared in my open chat group, because there's so much noise. So if you want to do your own research, you need to learn to cut the noise out. The main place most of you are going wrong in crypto is you're listening to too much noise. You're clicking on these hype videos and these 100x videos, and I don't watch those, because they have 99% of the time no substance, and then often the 1% of substance is either copied from somebody else who was paid to say that in the first place, or it's not long-term meaningful substance. So I hope this has helped you do your own research better, because learning how to really do your own research in crypto is the difference between wealth and poverty. So I invite you to join me in wealth. Stop getting ripped off. Stop holding your crypto on exchanges. Make sure you learn about ICP. And once you really understand ICP, you're in a better position to understand everything else. So if you want more Jerry Banfield, go to jerrybanfield.com. It's hosted on Internet Computer. You can talk to me about your whole crypto portfolio if you want. I have one-on-one video calls, and this has really helped me to care about you, because I talked to so many of you who'd lost so much in crypto, and were desperate for some help from me. I'm like, everybody can't afford or won't pay to talk to me. I want to be able to just give the same information I do in one-on-one calls to everybody for free and lead by example. So that's how we got here. These one-on-one calls were really helpful for me getting to where I'm at today. Most people who make stuff like this do not have video face-to-face calls with their followers, because if they did, they'd stop doing what they do. And if you want the best experience for free, come hang out on Twitch. I film this on Twitch days in advance, putting it out on YouTube. And you can chat with me directly on Internet Computer on Open Chat. I'm a full-time YouTuber and Twitch streamer. I make videos because I'm an artist, a teacher. I make music, play video games, anything to help you feel better. And remember the power you have to create a life you want to have.